There is a movement right now on the right that is tracking the names of people who were in some way perceived to be opposed to Charlie Kirk. A searchable database of over 20,000 individuals celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder will soon be available on our website. I'm sure that you know that that's pretty loose. Celebrating his death probably means anybody talking about it that is not fully, behind Charlie Kirk 100%, which probably means me.
Or alternatively, someone who isn't denouncing it, basically.
And the list is up to 50,000 currently. It's on specifically a number of websites, but this one right here, Charlie Kirk was murdered, is an employee or a student of yours supporting political violence online. Submit them for review. Now, at on the surface, this seems like, yeah, I'm opposed to political violence completely. What happened to him was absolutely wrong, absolutely unacceptable. There are no excuses for political violence, period. I did not want Charlie Kirk dead. I did not want him dead. I denounce it fully. But we're at a turning point in the United States right now where we are looking at, all right, genocides have to be planned. Okay. You can't just go commit one. It's something that needs to be organized, and it's difficult, takes a lot of logistics. There were people behind the scenes that organized the genocide in Rwanda. There were people behind the scenes organizing the Holocaust and that are organizing what's happening right now in Palestine with Israel. I don't think that we're there in the United States, but before something like that is organized, you have pogroms. And a good example of a pogrom is Kristallnacht, if you guys have ever heard of that, the Night of Broken Glass. It was this moment of intense violence. I think it was like, I don't, maybe spanned over the course of a few days, but specifically, synagogues are burned down and shops destroyed, Jewish shops destroyed, people going house to house looking for or hunting Jews, that kind of thing. Really, really ugly stuff. Pogroms generally come in 3 stages. It starts with heated online rhetoric, a few flashpoint protests, isolated scuffles, or vandalism. Like, for example, the guy who went past that Charlie Kirk vigil and said Charlie Kirk sucks or whatever, and then was beaten half to death. That kind of thing. Those isolated scuffles. New rumors about motive or identity, prominent influencers using retribution language without giving targets or dates, spikes in doxing lists or watch lists on fringe platforms without logistics attached. These are the types of things we could expect if there were pogroms coming. Calls for patrols or presence outside campuses, media orgs, synagogues, mosques, LGBT venues, or abortion clinics, but phrased as peaceful. Anyway, the risk profile for this stuff is already happening, what I've just listed. There are 3 stages, and that's just stage 1, 2 pogroms. Okay? Listen to this.
I hope when this is all over, you remember who fired first. You've tried to kill the president twice.
Who is you? I didn't do to anybody.
I was at home. Actually, I was in therapy when this happened, by the way.
Nobody did any of this stuff. It was a right-wing nutcase that did this to Donald Trump. Like he was a registered Republican. It had nothing to do with the left. And the Charlie Kirk thing, I mean, I guess we're going to find out what the deal is, but as of this moment, it looks like it was a Nick Fuentes fan. I don't know. Either way, I didn't do anything. The point is that this guy is demonizing a group, a very specific group, and he's applying motives to this group that don't exist.
And now you've assassinated man for talking.
So killing for people using their words is bad in his mind. Remember that, because it's going to change in a second.
Also, he wasn't just talking, he wasn't just using his words, he was actively spreading hate speech, racism, and violence.
We'll get there. Just bear with me and keep listening here.
You don't really want to do this, okay? 400 million plus firearms in this country, and they don't belong to the left, bro.
Well, a lot of them do, actually. There's a pretty big movement to arm the left. There's been a movement to arm trans people for a very long time, especially like the black community has been armed up for a long time. So that's not strictly true, but okay.
Kamala Harris has firearms, and she's very open about that too. She was the left. She's on the left.
Yeah. If you think it's okay to murder someone because of their opinion, you get what's coming to you. You and yours.
So he's saying he intends to take part in a pogrom, right? Said he wants to take part in a pogrom where they go door to door and do something psychotic. And the first step to pogroms is drawing up lists of people. Am I on the list? Who's on the list? Are you on the list? Did you say something positive about it? Who's on the list? These lists they're doxing lists that are being made publicly available to right-wing extremists. Let me just show you a few pictures here. I mean, screenshots. The Hodge twins, Nazi nutcases. They said, Justin, Elon Musk, on the assassination of Charlie Kirk, if they won't leave us in peace, then our choice is to fight or die. And somebody responds, that's what I'm talking about. I'm your Huckleberry. The sooner we get this show on the road, the sooner we are back to normal. DC, Chicago, New Orleans is next. If it were up to them, I wouldn't be alive either. Them, quote unquote, being me and you, apparently, in their delusional brain. I don't want anybody dead, okay? Nobody. Waiting for the Charlie Kirk volunteer militia to start accepting applications. Volunteer militia. That means there's organization behind it. There's organization happening right now. We got things like this. This is Derek Van Orden retweeting Libs of TikTok. Libs of TikTok said, teacher at Ellsworth Community School District in Wisconsin. He spewed hate. You can't be upset that he died. Imagine this person teaching your kids. They are specifically, this is domestic terrorism. That's what we're watching right now. This is domestic terrorism. And this congressman says, I represent Ellsworth in Congress. It's a beautiful town full of wonderful people, except this one. I'll be working to remove all federal funding, including grants and community-directed projects for the entire city of Ellsworth, unless this is rectified immediately. This is domestic terrorism. Here's another, Matt Forney. Charlie Kirk being assassinated is the American Reichstag fire. If you're unfamiliar with the era, the Reichstag fire happened about a month into Hitler's control, after he took control as chancellor. It was lit by a Serb, a disgruntled dude who was upset over how Serbs were being treated, political persecution, things like that. And the Nazis started the conspiracy theory that it was a communist, quote unquote, that was doing it to hurt Hitler or whatever, you know, the same stupid nonsense we hear today, and used that as a justification to demonize communists and enact political retribution against his political enemies. Sign up for my Patreon. I'd really appreciate that very much. It would mean so much to me. This is like a really precarious moment in history, in U.S. history, and for me personally, so it would mean a lot if you sign up for my Patreon. Check out cultarchive.org. I did a cult test, basically, where you can see if you're in a cult, and you can look at the historical tests of other groups that already went through this. Also, check out my merch. I have a whole bunch of really cool shirts and stuff. Really interesting. I would really appreciate that. This person says, it's the American Reichstag fire. It's time for a complete crackdown on the left. So they're in favor of the Reichstag fire moment, I guess. Every Democratic politician must be arrested and the party banned under RICO. Every libtard commentator must be shut down. Stochastic terrorism. They caused this. How many people know that the Reichstag fire was started by a Dutch communist? That's a Nazi conspiracy theory. That's not true. Who hoped to inspire a workers' uprising in Germany. And then, goes through this whole thing. Anyway. The point is, we are facing a very dangerous moment, and I don't believe in guns. I don't think they should be in society, but I am now saying it is probably time for people to own one for their own safety. Check this out.
Call for a civil war. Call for a civil war and let us do our thing. Let us go door to door, street by street, and clean this country.
Door to door, street by street.
And clean this country.
Because everyone that's been celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, you're just as guilty, just as complicit, and you should be held just as accountable.
At no point have I ever been in favor of it, celebrated it, said this is a good thing in any way, shape, or form. But something tells me that I'm probably on the list anyway. When they intend to go door to door, I'm on that list.
So don't worry about it, because we're going to start kicking it off here real soon.
400 million plus firearms in this country.
Oh yeah, we already saw that one. Here, check the next one here.
But you can always tell when the other side is bankrupt, when they have to resort to this kind of cowardice.
Again, I believe that the person was a right-winger, not a left-winger. But okay.
But for those of you that are celebrating, we are going to...
Like, this is all over the place right now. Okay, it's hard to be on the internet and not see these types of things being put out there. This is a flashpoint I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in my entire life.
At Harbor Freight in Cookville in the parking lot at 11 a.m. this Sunday. So everybody that wants to meet like-minded individuals, be there.
Fight back! White man, fight back! White man, fight back!
White men fight back. So let me give you a little bit more insight into pogroms and what they are and how they work. And I have one more clip to show you after we go through that. Here's stage 2. We're already in stage 1, obviously, of pogroms, right? Stage 2, localized retaliation bursts. What it looks like, short notice rallies or vigils that morph into confrontations, targeted vandalism, small groups attempting intimidation at perceived enemy sites, abortion clinics, things like that. Prominent figure openly names acceptable targets. Show up at XYZ campus or newsroom. A viral misinformation clip alleging celebration of the killing by a group, real or fabricated. And here are some early indicators. Event flyers with time or place plus suggested gear. Car caravan chatter, security teams, recruiting. We're seeing that. We're in stage 2 of pogroms right now. Cross-platform convergence, Telegram to X to Facebook, sharing the same location and time frame. Likely geography, college towns, mid-sized metros with recent protest history, swing county suburbs where opposing groups already clash. The risk profile for this one, this is happening. Night of violence near the announced spots, bystander risk within a few blocks, copycats the following weekend. We can expect this kind of thing on Friday nights, Saturday nights. Certainly flashpoint around the time of the funeral, around the 1-week anniversary of his death and the 1-month anniversary of his death. And then here's stage 3 of pogroms, a coordinated campaign or pogrom adjacency. What it looks like, multi-city, semi-organized actions targeting specific communities, religious, ethnic, LGBT, immigrant, journalists, over multiple nights. Explicit lists, which we have now. Tacit political cover from a few local officials. Uneven policing. Here are some typical triggers for it. A charismatic hub, media network, or militia front publishes a day of action toolkit with target categories and roles. Scouts, drivers, streamers. A second catalytic incident, like another shooting, framed as proof of war, plus a sympathetic local sheriff or DA signaling tolerance. Here are some early indicators. Shared spreadsheets or maps of targets, supply asks like radios, bear spray, shields, hotel block bookings, coordinated legal cover memes, stand your ground night, citizen defense, that kind of thing. Here's the risk profile. Even if short-lived, it would produce clustered assaults and arsons and widespread intimidation. The way that this could be stopped would be governor-level posture statements, mutual aid hotlines, federal liaison teams, but I don't expect the federal government to step in here because Donald Trump said he doesn't care about right-wing violence. He said that. He said, I don't care about right-wing violence. I care about left-wing radicals. So no support from Trump. No support from the FBI. At best, we can hope for local community support and governors if you're in a friendly state. This is a video about a Christian nationalist describing how he's being subjected to a genocide like what happened in Rwanda by atheists right now.
When the Nazis attacked Jewish stores and got away with it, that told people persecution, real genocidal persecution is down the road.
He has no idea what he's talking about, obviously.
Right now in America, our government and the leftist institutions that support it, from the Ivy League to large numbers of churches, to the mainstream of the Republican Party.
By the way, this is from 2022. It isn't recent. And this is John Zimmerak on Eric Metaxas's show.
Supports it by being afraid to fight it. It's reminding me of the buildup in the 1990s in Rwanda, the buildup towards genocide. The Hutus were the majority, but they weren't as wealthy or successful as the minority Tutsis. So they resented them. They wanted their stuff.
That's not what happened.
I don't even think schools teach it like that.
No, he's completely full of it. The Hutu were the persecuted minority, though they were 90% of the country, I think. The Tutsi, Tutsi, were 10%. And when the British colonized the region, they gave the Tutsi tribe members better positions in government or whatever, because they were taller and lighter skinned and looked more like British people and thus superior, and all the nonsense. Anyway, the Hutu kind of worked themselves into a blood frenzy like we're seeing right now. And it got to the point where they were fully genocidal. And the Reichstag fire moment, the Charlie Kirk assassination moment for them, was a plane being shot down with the president in it. And that sparked everything. And they got on the radio the next morning and said, it's time to cut the tall trees. And they had actually planned a genocide. It wasn't just pogroms. It was an actual genocide. And they went door to door and gave people the option of purchasing a bullet because it was expensive. And if they couldn't purchase the bullet, then they got the machete. They would hurry these Tutsi people into these churches to hide them, and they would lock the doors and set it on fire and pick them off as they jumped out the windows. It was really ugly, and it went on for 100 days, and nobody did anything. The United States sat back and watched. Britain pulled out of Rwanda and then sat back and watched. I mean, it was really, really bad. 91, I think, maybe. Anyway, it's bizarre that this guy's describing that situation as like the Hutu were jealous of the... God, it's insane. Anyway.
Minority Tutsis. So they resented them. They wanted their stuff. They wanted their power. They wanted their money. And
That's not... Okay.
Started demonizing the Tutsis, calling them cockroaches on radio shows.
Does that sound familiar? Vermin?
News hosts would refer to Tutsi cockroaches. The way I see people talking about white people, about Christians, about so-called Christian nationalists, they talk about us the same way.
Complete, pure, and total, unadulterated delusion. To think that the left is talking about Christians like they're like cockroaches, like they're about to genocide them. Like what? Again, this is like 3 years old. This mindset has been here for a while now, and it is catalyzing or metastasizing. Charlie Kirk's death has sparked a very disturbing moment. And I'm telling you, it's time. I don't care how much you hate guns. It's time to get one. Just be ready for this and rely on your community as much as you can and hide your personal information if at all possible, because it's about to get real. Tell me your thoughts.